Hey folks, Nas here. Another episode of Medieval Dynasty for you. In today's episode, I want to cover what to do with extra leather, fur, and feathers that your workers may be collecting. Alrighty, so today, like I mentioned, we're covering what to do with extra leather, fur, and feathers. We'll be using the numbers from what I've personally collected, as you can see here on the screen. And you're probably wondering how I collected so many of these items. Well, mainly, I haven't been checking on them. So when I was doing my village remodel, and of course we've had, several updates and things like that going on, I just have not been giving these workstations the attention that they really needed. Now, granted, I've been, worried about making videos and putting out content for you folks and things like that. So some of this stuff goes to the wayside until I get a collection of it, or I find some kind of a tip and I need to be paying attention to it, or like the wood demand video that I had done, it brought some attentions to things that I had settings going but didn't require. So, the people brought up in my wood demand video that I didn't add the amount of planks that I was making my villagers or having my villagers make into the equation, which I realized I didn't do that because I wasn't looking at adding that in. We were strictly talking about the wood demand of the villagers. But after that video, I did go back and I stopped making the planks because I realized that they were making it, and I had 1,000 planks on hand and I didn't need 1,000 planks. So I'd stopped them from making planks until I'm ready to do another expansion or add more houses or whatever I need planks for. If I'm going to be building everybody a water bucket or something like that, or wash basin to take a bath in or something. But I've got plenty of planks on hand. But that's how I got all of this feather and fur and leather that I have on hand right now. So what we're going to be doing is I will leave the barter skill. We're actually going to go turn that off. Let me go talk to my wife. Matter of fact, I got everything on me right now, so I got to drop it all. So let me drop all of this and go talk to my wife, and I'm going to turn the barter skill off for this video, and I'll be back in just a moment. Alrighty, so we are back. I have turned off my barter skill, and I'll show you that here in just a second. I wanted to pick all that stuff up first. So you can see here I got the little star next to diplomacy. There are no points in diplomacy. I've got 9 available. There's none down there. So barter skill is off because I wanted to get down to the base cost of everything. And then we're going to go back into inventory. Go to the feathers. I want to make sure my numbers are right with everything that I wrote down earlier because I did all the math earlier. I was not doing math on screen. Alrighty, so we've got 4,417 feathers. We have 2,303 fur. We've got 1,793 leather. Now, I went through and chose some recipes that involved these 3 materials and then a couple of other easy materials to get. Because what I'm wanting to do is keep this as simple as I can, but as cost effective as I can. So I want to be able to make as much money back as possible out of this. So for the feathers, what I did, actually, let's go up here first. I'm sorry, skipping around my notes here. So I'm going to put on the screen, feathers sell for 1.5 coin each. The leather sells for 4 coin each. Fur sells for 3 coins each. And then, of course, there's a couple of recipes that require sticks and stone, which is mainly the feather recipes, because the only thing that you can make with feathers, as far as I know right now, are arrows. So I added sticks and stones, which both sell for 0.1 coin each, the stick and the stone. So then with, scroll down here to my other notes. So the feathers, if I sold the feathers outright, and I'll put that on the screen, this on the screen as well. So for 4,417 feathers multiplied by 1.5 coin, because that's what they sell for each. If I sold them outright, I could make 6,625.5 coin just selling the feathers, which is fine. And some people may want to do that, but I kind of want to take this farther to see if I can squeeze more money out of these items. So the fur, so 2,303 fur times 3 coins, because fur sells for 3 coins each, I would make 6,909 coin by selling the fur outright. And then the leather, if I sold the leather, 1,793 leather. I should have been highlighting that when I was doing this, but I was reading my notes. I apologize. But anyway, the 1,793 leather times 4 coins, because they sell for four coins each, would get me 7,172 coin. Now, these prices over here on the right-hand side, as far as I can tell, those don't mean squat. They're just a value, and I'm not sure what they're based off of, because they're not the sale price at all, and they're not the buy price. So if you went and bought leather, I don't believe you can buy leather for 8 coins a piece, but we're not buying leather, so I didn't go get that price. But that's how much we would get if we just sold the raw materials as they were. But so I went a little bit farther and chose some recipes to see if we could actually make something and make a little bit more coin. So for the feather, I ended up going with the stone arrows, because if we went with iron arrows, iron now is more rare to come by. Granted, you can get it, but not as plentiful as you used to be able to before they introduced copper and tin into the game. So I chose stone arrows for the feathers. So if we sell, so each arrow sells for 3.5 coins each, but you make them in a stack of 10 when you craft them. So we're going to be looking at this as a stack, or they sell for 35 coins per stack of 10. So it requires 10 sticks, 2 stone, 10 feathers to craft. So if we sold the materials, so we're just looking at the 10 sticks, the 2 stone, and the 10 feathers, that would sell for 16.2 coins per stack of 10. So it's a little more than half of what a stack of stone arrows cost. So that's not too terribly bad. So then for the leather and fur, and we're going to go over all of these values a little bit later in the video. I'm just kind of trying to cover everything and let you know what's kind of going on and where I'm coming from. So for the leather and fur, again, I tried to keep this as simple as possible. I didn't want to include any thread or fabric or anything like that, because then now you need, if I did that, you would need flax, so you would need fields and fertilizer, and then you would need to have rot or pigs or whatever to get that manure. So on and so forth. If we did the wool stuff, you'd have to have sheep, and there would just be much more involved. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. So I chose either the fur shoes or the fur boots. So the fur shoes, they sell for 72.5 coins for the fur shoes for that recipe. So the fur shoes require 10 fur and 8 leather to craft. And then if you wanted to sell just the fur and the leather, so that would be 10 fur and 8 leather, it would be 62 coins just to sell those. So in crafting the fur shoes, you do make a little bit more money. So the fur boots, when crafted, they sell for 112.5 coins. They require 16 fur, 12 leather, and those materials, the 16 fur and the 12 leather, will sell for 69 coins. So there, again, there's some pretty good, coin to be made there. Then, if we just look at the leather, I went with the simple bag and the simple shoes. So the simple bag, you can even make in your own crafting wheel. So if you, let's get out of this real quick and open the crafting wheel, go to hand crafting and spin over here to simple bag right here. You can craft that in your own crafting wheel. You don't need a building or a workstation to craft this item. However, the simple shoes, you have to have the sewing hut in order to craft. Just like the fur shoes and fur boots for the leather and fur, you need the sewing hut for those as well. And the stone arrows, you need, I believe you need the smithy for that. You have to have the workstation in the smithy. It might be the workstation in the workshop, but I'm pretty sure it's the smithy. You know, so a lot of these are requiring some kind of a workstation, but the simple bag does not. So let's get back out of that. And we are talking about the leather. We'll highlight that again. So anyway, the simple bag sells for 15 coins each. It requires 3 leather to craft it. Those 3 leather sell for 12 coins each. So the simple bag, you're actually getting 1 more coin per leather by crafting it into the bag, rather than selling the leather outright. The simple shoes sell for 40 coins each. They require 8 leather. So the simple shoes are 40 coins each, 8 leather. The leather sells for 32 coins. Then we're looking at, we're gonna look at leather and sticks, because I added sticks because of the arrows. So I figure, okay, let's throw in something else, a leather and sticks, because sticks are plentiful in my operations. I've got them picking up sticks left and right. So in this one, I'm looking at the torch. So the torch sells for 15 coins. It requires 2 sticks and 2 leather, and those materials sell for 8 coin. So again, there's almost half of what the torch sells for is the cost of the materials, which isn't bad. You're almost doubling your money by just crafting the torch. Alrighty, so now we're going to get into a lot more math. So now we're going to go back and we're going to go talk about the stone arrows. So with the stone arrows, as long as you're gathering enough stone and sticks to make stone arrows with however many feathers you got, in my case, over 4,000. So I can, at this point in time, I can craft 441 times the stone arrows. So that's it. I can do that. I can do the stack of 10 441 times. And that's going to give me 4,410 stone arrows to sell for 35 coins each. And that comes out to be 15,425 coins. So I've now turned 4,000 feathers into a little over 15,000 coins. Now granted, I had to add stone and I had to add sticks as well. So, which in my case isn't that big of a deal, because I do have a collection of those in my storage and in on the floor of my resource storage. I have lots of stone and lots of sticks. So as for the leather, so as for the feathers, it's clearly better to set your workers to gather the sticks and the stone to make the arrows, rather than just selling the feathers alone, because you can even do this. You don't have to do this in bulk as a one-time thing. You can actually set up your villagers to make any of these items all year long for the rest of days if you wanted to. So it's actually not a bad deal. So now let's talk about the leather. Like I mentioned earlier, the leather has a couple of recipes that I came up with, and again, the simple bag and the simple shoes. So we have the simple bag, which is a very popular item to craft, but it does not require the sewing hut, which makes it really nice and appealing. And you don't have to collect any extra resources. You literally just have to have the leather to be able to craft these things. And you can craft them yourself, or you can set your workers to craft them. So I'll show on the screen as well, from the 1793 leather that I've got, I can make 597 simple bags, which would sell for 15 coins each, and I would get 8,955 coins for selling all of the simple bags that I can make out of this almost 1800 leather. Now for the simple shoes. Now the simple shoes requires the sewing hut to craft them, but it doesn't require any additional resources. Like you don't need thread or linen or obviously sticks or stones or anything like that. It's just the leather. And out of the 1793 leather, I could craft 224 simple shoes, which sell for 40 coins each, and would get me 8,960 coins. Just 5 more coins than selling the simple bags. But I have to have the sewing hut to craft them. So the simple bags and the simple shoes, as you can see, are very comparable. Just literally out of 1793 leather, the shoes made me 5 coins more than the simple bag. So it all depends on what you want to do, whether you want to stand inside the sewing hut and craft them, or whether you want to just stand in front of the vendor and craft them, or if you want to have your worker craft them and then you just pick them up out of your resource shed and just go sell them. All up to you. Now this is obviously in my case here because I'm looking at trying to get my money's worth out of what I'm going to craft. So now we're going to talk about the torch, which requires a collection of sticks and the workshop to craft. I would be able to make 896 torches, which sell for 15 coins each, and I would make 13,440 coins by selling all the torches I can make. But again, this requires sticks and the workshop. Now we're going to talk, we're moving on to the fur. Now the fur is a tricky one. The recipes I came up with use a lot of leather to craft them. So I decided to choose 2 that required the least leather, which were the fur shoes, which require 8 leather, and the fur boots, which require 12 leather plus the fur. Now I can make 224 fur shoes, which sell for 72.5 coin each, and I would make 16,240 coins selling them. Or I could make 143 fur boots, which sell for 112.5 coins each, and I would make 16,087.5 coins by selling those. So again, less than 200 coins difference in those 2 items if I wanted to utilize the leather and the fur together. That's quite a bit of coin to be made, but let's look at one more thing. If I just made the torches, which I would have made 13,440 coins, and then just sold the raw fur, which would sell for 6,909 coin, I would make 20,349 coins. So we have eliminated actually using the fur in a crafting recipe. And I've made the the leather with the sticks. I made the torches and then sold the torches and then the fur. And then all I would have to do is make the stone arrows, which I actually have a production of stone arrows going. So I plan on selling stone arrows along with some grain and things like that I have an abundance of at the end of the year, to pay my taxes and make money and things like that. So, but as far as the leather and the fur, because these 2 were kind of weird, especially the fur. The fur is a tough one because in order to really do something with the fur, you either have to use a lot of your leather, and then you have to add linen into it, which your thread and your fabric, to craft some items to make some fairly decent money. But there's a lot more that goes into it. So you would need crops, and you would need your sheep to produce wool and things like that. So there's a a higher head cost, I guess you would say. But for me, and what I've got already, selling the raw fur outright and making torches is going to be the better way to go. And then from here on out, I would turn off fur collection, because I do not use fur at all right now. I don't make clothes for my villagers at this point or anything like that. So fur collection is just taking up weight. And you can see right now that's just shy of 600 kilogram of weight for what I've got there. That's 600 kilograms that I could use in my resource storage for other things like my leather or my feathers. I mean, it was 4,000 feathers. That's 44 weight. That's nothing. Is to where I got, almost 1,800 leather, and that's, 450 kilogram almost. So for me, and the extra fur, feathers, and leather, I was getting tongue-tied there, I am going to actually make the torches, and then I'm going to sell the fur outright. And like I said, I'm going to stop my fur collection. That way I can focus more on my leather collection, my feather collection, making the stone arrows, and making the simple bags from here on out, because that would give me a decent, steady income that I could go through any given season and sell some excess stuff. Because I have them making iron arrows for me personally, and in fact, I don't even have them making it. I go in and I make it as needed, because I usually have about 200 arrows or close to it on me. There's my iron arrows right there. I've got 193 arrows. I don't go out hunting a whole lot. I only use my arrows if I'm caught out and I need to fight something that I've run across, because in making these videos, a lot of times I'm running across the map. I'm not sticking to roadways and stuff like that unless I'm looking for carts, but I'm running across the map. And if by chance I run into a wolf or a wisent or something like that, and I hop off and it's still chasing me, I use my arrows to take it down. But that's the only time I use arrows, so don't utilize them a whole lot. I've got hunters that go out and get all of my meat and all of my leathers and everything for me. But anyway, getting off on a little bit of a tangent there on iron arrows. So again, this was just, I thought this was something good to bring up, make people think about what to do with some of maybe the extra items that you are collecting in your resource storage, or you didn't know you were collecting. You're going in, you're going, oh my goodness, how did I get so many beets? or what is that? Beetroot, I think is what they call that. Or how did I get so much, fur? Or how did I get so much of this? Or what am I going to do with it now? But this gives you an idea of things to do, at least with the fur and the leather and the feather. Make you some simple bags, sell the fur outright, and make you some torches and some stone arrows. I mean, it just to make you think. But I thought this would be a cool subject for a video that I could share with you folks, and just kind of let you know what I'm doing. I know there wasn't a whole lot going on the screen other than math, but I apologize about that. But anyway, if you found this video helpful in any way, please click that like button below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. Both those items definitely help the channel out a lot. If you haven't come over and joined my Discord community, please feel free to do that as well. I'll leave the link to I will leave the link to the Discord in the description below. I got tongue-tied again. That way you can click on that and just come over and join the Discord server with the rest of the community. We'd love to have you. And again, you folks take care and happy hunting.